hand up if you've ever looked in the mirror and not liked what you've seen. And I know that's true. I walked into the bathroom before and I heard someone look in the mirror and go, oh, so it's not pretty. You know, put your hand up again if you've ever compared yourself to somebody else. Yeah.
Okay, keep that hand up if doing that makes you feel like absolute crap. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we've called this workshop today, A Happy Woman is a Beautiful Woman. Because in our experience, happiness always creates beauty. And what we really want you to get from this workshop today is, what is that one thing we all do that stops us feeling beautiful? We want to really understand this term beauty and where it actually comes from. We want to redefine that term self-love. It's the kind of thing that's gotten a really bad rap over the years. And we're also going to give you some practical daily tools you can take with you in your lives.
So this question, what is beauty and where does it come from? And that's what we're going to spend today answering. My name's Lucy Pemberton-Platt, and for those of you that are familiar with my work, you'll know me from the Feel a Fear and Do It Anyway workshops that I run for Susan Jeffers back in Merseyside, and also my online community page, Free Spirit Coaching. And from the work that I do at home, and what we would love you to take away from this 40 minutes, is the power and the influence that you have to determine the way that you feel about the way that you look. You know, around 5 years ago now, I had very little self-awareness. My life, as defined by most people's standards, was headed in the right direction. I was graduating from university, I had a really good job in the police, I had a long-term relationship, and I had wonderful friends and a great family. But on the inside, I had completely lost my spark. I had no passion for what I was studying anymore, and I felt really fearful about ending this relationship that I was unhappy in, because at that time I had told myself that if something was uncertain or if I didn't know what was going to come next, that it was a bad thing. And I had placed a huge amount of importance on the way that I looked, and I never seemed to look good enough. And it was always dependent upon the approval of others. So about the age of 20, I had a little bit of a breakdown, and it actually turned out to be a huge gift for me, because at that time my mum gave me a book called Feel a Fear and Do It Anyway, and it completely transformed the way that I saw things. And I started to see the world that we live in as a kind place. And I started to be really grateful and appreciative of myself. And what I came to understand was that as much as I love getting my hair done, and I love getting makeovers, and I love all fashion and going shopping, that inherent sense of worth and that high level of self-esteem that we all want does not actually come from any of those things.
My name's Sean Patrick. Can you all hear me okay? Can it be a bit louder? Holly? Holly? It's okay. I'll just speak really loud until somebody can put it up. My name's Sean Patrick, and for those of you who follow my work, you'll know me as that guy who loves the universe. And I'm really interested in spirituality and how we can really incorporate spirituality into our modern lives. Now don't worry, nobody here is going to be rubbing crystals or chanting or any of that stuff. I'm actually a really modern day spiritual seeker. You know, I've got my holy water in one hand, but a vanilla latte in the other. I love it all, okay? But do I believe, do you know what, I'm going to stop for a second to turn it up. Do you want to just, should I get this turned up?
Yeah.
Could you turn this up, please? Sorry about this, guys. Hello? Oh, there we go, perfect.
There we go.
I'm so thankful, I couldn't even hear myself. Okay, so yeah, do I think there's something spiritual about feeling beautiful? Absolutely. Do I think it's a spiritual quote-unquote thing to do to find your inner beauty? Yeah, I absolutely do. Okay, Lucy and I are best friends, and we've been researching this topic on our own for a while now, and this is the first time we get to share the stage together. I'm really excited to do this. Okay, so if I could say to you all, you have the choice of having a really high IQ or really great hair. Think about what you choose. Hey, this survey actually happened. 2,000 women were asked, would you rather have really great hair or a really high IQ? What do you think they chose? Great hair. I totally get that. I love doing my hair. I love doing my hair, and when I'm having a good hair day, my life just seems to work better. It definitely contributes towards my life. I do better in my job, I feel more confident, I'm even more social in so many situations. So I completely get why they'd say that. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, there was a time in my life when I used to think that if my hair looked good, that was the most important thing, like that somehow that was going to bring me happiness. But over time I've realised that there's something more to beauty than the way that you look. And what we'd like you to invite you to do is actually to look at the women on the screen.
Just one.
So, the women on here on this screen, I think it's safe to say, would not maybe fit people's prefixed ideas of what beauty is. You know, maybe conventionally they're not beautiful. But I think it's safe to say that if you all pay attention to how you're feeling now, something more real within you is moved.
So, you know, this whole idea of, you know, if we look better on the outside, we're going to feel good on the inside is a total myth. You know, we've all had that experience of somebody complimenting us and us just pushing it right away. You know, somebody will say, oh, you look so good, and you'll go, oh, no, I don't. How many of us have done that before? Yeah? You know, I deliver a lot of this work in a high school right now, and there's a woman who works there who is just so conventionally beautiful. She's got the long hair, the great figure, she's tall, she's got great skin, and I'm quite an enthusiastic person. So I'll go in and I'll go, oh, babe, you're looking so fit today. And I'll tell her how beautiful she's looking. And then I came in the other time and I was like, no, babe, you're looking so good today. And she'd look a bit uncomfortable, but she'd just move on. And I did this a few times, you know, babe, you look so good today. And after 2 weeks, guess what she said to me? Sean, you're being so sarcastic. I feel so ugly. Stop complimenting me. I was just telling her she looks good. But she couldn't accept it because my thoughts about her didn't reflect the thoughts she had about herself. I'm sure we all know somebody in our friendship circles who's really conventionally beautiful, but probably very insecure.
Mm-hmm. So what we want to look at now is what we can actually do so that when someone compliments us, we can actually say, thank you, you know? Or we can actually feel, well, you know what? I've actually been thinking that about myself lately too. So, you've all got paper and pens, or we hope that you have. And what we'd like to ask you to do here, you don't have to actually share this with anybody, but what we want you to do is to write down one negative thing that you think about yourself. You know, it might be, I should be taller, I should be smaller, I should have better hair, I should be slimmer. Whatever it is, write it down. We're not going to ask you to share it with anyone, but it is really important that you do it because this exercise will only work if you do. So everyone, take 2 minutes to write down one negative thing that you think about yourself. And while you're writing this one negative thing down, I'd like you to really pay attention to the way that it's making you feel as you're focused on this one negative quality that you believe you possess. Notice how it makes you feel.
Can we safely say it doesn't feel good?
I think we can safely say that it doesn't feel good. Now what I want you to do is to write down 3 positive qualities that you believe you possess. You know, maybe you think that you're a good mom or a good friend. Maybe there's part of your physical appearance that you completely accept. But write down now 3 things, 3 positive things that you can find about yourself. And again, notice the way that it makes you feel. And more importantly, notice that in the past 5 minutes, the way that you look has not changed. Who you are has not changed, but what you're choosing to focus on has, and that's affected the way that you feel. So, what we've just shown you there, very quickly, is that the way that you think affects the way that you feel. And the way that you feel will affect the way that you behave. You know, has anyone had the experience where they've snapped at someone they care about disproportionately to what that person deserved?
Like they just said to you, what's the time? And you say, get off my back!
Like you snapped at them. And the reason that we give other people a hard time is because we give ourselves an even harder time. You know, I did some travelling over in America in 2011, and I went to a school for the work by a woman called Byron Katie. And something that she said to me that has always stuck with me is, it's not your job to love me, it's mine. And I think within this context, it's not your job to find me beautiful, it's mine. And we all have the power to feel negatively or positively about ourselves, but we actually cannot appreciate who we are and complain about who we are at the same time. You know, we have to choose. And I want to just bring your attention back to the pictures that we looked at before, because there are approximately about 50 women in this audience. And when you were looking at those pictures, there would have been 50 different emotions, different perceptions, you know, different feelings going on, but the images were the same. So what that again demonstrates is, it's not the image that's causing your emotions, it's the way you're thinking about the image that's causing your emotions. And how that relates to you is that if you choose to think positively about yourself, you're going to feel better. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah?
You know, we say this because there would have been a time in all of your lives where you felt absolutely beautiful. Like there was a day you were walking around like you really had it going on. And there was a day where you walked around thinking that you looked awful. And to your surprise, the difference was not how you looked. You see, it's not what we not what we see in the mirror that's making us feel beautiful. It's what we're thinking about what we see in the mirror that makes us feel beautiful.
Yeah. So again, we'd like you to draw your attention to the screen. So here's a typically good-looking male model. I'd certainly find him attractive. But if you bumped into him in a bar, let's be honest, would that trigger, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to go over and ask him out. I think I'll go over and chat to him and introduce myself. Or would it trigger a moment of appreciation and then an hour of self-loathing? Oh, he wouldn't be interested in me, and oh, I couldn't have a body like that, and you know, I'd like to go over and ask him out, but if he rejects me, then I'm not going to be able to handle that. Or maybe you start to have the thought process of going over to speak to him, and then, you know, something in your stomach starts to go, you start feeling something. You label it as nerves, you label it as anxiety, and what happens? You move so far away from that situation because you don't want to experience that.
Nothing actually changed out here. He was just stood there at the bar, and then we take ourselves to absolute hell for about half an hour. Okay? Now we say this because the whole world is a mirror, and I'll tell you what I mean when I say this. We've got the mirror we look at in the morning, which is the one in the bathroom. We do our hair in that mirror, we brush our teeth in that mirror, put on our makeup in that mirror. And that's reflecting right back to you how you look. And your mind might go, oh my gosh, I'm getting old, oh my gosh, look at my hair, oh my gosh, look at my crow's feet, and you can't stop yourself, you've gone. You're being triggered all the time into negative thoughts, okay? But then you go out into your life, and you're still being triggered all the time into them negative thoughts. So it could be the billboard that you see with with the underwear model on the screen. Oh my God, I'll never look like her. I wish I had that figure. You go into the office, and then your co-worker could say something, and it's, oh my God, I'm not good enough, and on and on and on and on. But all this is going on in your own head. It's not actually happening. It's actually happening. It's happening within you. So let's think about this. The trigger that we're talking about is not the problem. It's what you decide to do next. So let me give you an example. You see the guy at the bar, and you get stuck, you get paralyzed by your own thinking, nothing else, your own thinking. You decide to do nothing, you get scared, you run away, you might even go home. Or, let's get spiritual now. Or do you allow them thoughts to happen and go forth anyway? Do you allow yourself to feel so uncomfortable, so nervous, so anxious, and act in spite of that? Because that's what a beautiful person is. That's somebody who's really attractive, someone who's going to say, do you want to know what, I am scared right now. I am feeling very vulnerable, I am feeling terrified. But I'm going to have enough respect for myself to do what I really want to do. There was a study at Yale University by a behavioural specialist. She was a psychology lecturer there. And it was really interesting. She wanted to examine how people felt when they thought they were having a bad hair day. This is how simple it was. She met up with her friends, coffee, cinema, walk, and she said one thing to them. You know, your hair isn't looking as good today as it did yesterday. And what do you think kind of happened to her friends? She said, your hair isn't looking as good today as it was yesterday. They got depressed, they got defensive, their mood rapidly declined, and the majority of them made an excuse to have to go home. She didn't say, your hair looks bad. She said, your hair doesn't look as good today as it does yesterday. And they had to get out of the situation. They couldn't bear being somewhere in public where the world was looking at them if their hair wasn't perfect. In further stages of this study, she discovered that not feeling good about your hair can affect how you feel about your work, makes you feel not smart enough, and makes you feel like you're not capable in any other task you're doing. All because thinking you've got bad hair. What do you think about that?
Has anyone had that experience? Yeah. And I think the main point that what Sean was highlighting there is that, you know, you will have negative thoughts. You will have negative thoughts about yourself. You can't stop those. And we're actually not here to tell you that you can, because we have 65,000 a day. Except it's what you choose to do in spite of them. It's whether you choose to attach to them. It's whether you choose to believe them, to act on them, or whether you just choose to let them stay there.
So, if you're going to try and stop your negative thinking, you're going to be in for one hell of a job. I don't know what to tell you to do that. If you're going to allow them to happen and do what you want to do anyway, you're on track to a really happy, beautiful life. That study I was talking about, the one where she said, you know, your hair is not looking as good today as it was yesterday. I found that hilarious, but also really touching, because it really resonates with the time of my life, which I want to share with you now. If I think back to about 3 years ago, I had no compassion for myself whatsoever. Gave myself a hard time every single day, and sometimes just the task of getting ready to go to work and looking in the mirror, I knew I was in for about 30 minutes of giving myself complete hell. A little niggling of self-loathing was born within me. Bearing in mind, at this point in my life, things were working. I'd graduated university, I had a good job, I used to drink fancy cocktails and think, hey, I'm really hot stuff. That was all on the outside. On the inside, that's not how I felt. Okay? So this little niggling of self-loathing, which comes about as it does for so many people, bad relationship, a few knockbacks, a few not good enoughs, a few betrayals, all that started to build within me and I was attacking myself. And it got to a stage in my life when there was no amount of fancy sunglasses or designer jeans that I could buy to make me feel worthy. I felt awful because of my own thinking every single day. So I decided this had to change. And in true Eat, Pray, Love style, I packed up my life in the UK and I moved to Hong Kong. And I decided I was going to do a few things differently there. Let me tell you what I did. I decided to keep company that honoured me, company I loved and people I loved spending time with. I decided I was going to learn to say no when I wanted to say no, and draw lines when I wanted to draw lines, and say yeah, hell yeah, when I wanted to do something that I really wanted to do. I wasn't going to go, oh no, I'm not good enough, I can't do that. Do I want to do that? Yes, let's do it. And then I came home and I did something really interesting. I had to reintroduce myself to people. I had to let them know things are going to be different now. I didn't have to say to them, hi, I'm Sean, I'm a new person now. I let my energy speak for itself. Just so you know, things are going to be different now. That thing I used to get really insecure about, that doesn't happen anymore. That person I'm so scared of running into, I'm not scared anymore. So what you could say I learned to do was I learned to do the things that made me feel more happy. What that actually did, I learned to do the things that made me feel more attractive, made me feel more beautiful. Okay? So, I now like to give you all a chance to think about that thing you do that makes you feel really beautiful.
So again, you've got your paper and you've got your pens. So really think now, what's one thing that I do for myself that makes me feel beautiful? You know, for me, it could just be looking after myself by going to the gym or eating the right things. Whatever it is for you, just think about it now. What's the one thing that I do that makes me feel good about myself? And write it down.
You know, it could be something really silly. I feel so freaking beautiful when I've got my headphones in and I'm dancing around my bedroom to Nicki Minaj. I feel incredible. Your answer could be something really silly and really simple. It might be really philosophical. It could be very deep. It's yours. And do you want to know what? Don't be surprised if it's something that you don't want to tell people about. So often we feel at our best when it's in the privacy of our own homes, and sometimes we wouldn't want people to know what it was. But you know. So let your mind think, what's that thing I do that makes me feel beautiful? And take some time to answer that. Have you all got something? So, that journey I took, Hong Kong. Yeah, I took 5,000 miles overseas. That's not the journey I'm concerned about in my life. I took a journey from self-loathing into self-loving. And for me, it was no small thing. That was such a necessary journey I had to take that time in my life. Okay, I just said something. I said the word self-loving, okay? This is the kind of thing that makes so many people go, oh my gosh, they're going to talk about self-love. And if I was at a talk, I'd start thinking that way too.
When we actually say the word self-love, notice how it makes you feel. You know, does it make you cringe? Or does it make you like squirm in your seats? You know, or maybe you actually have a belief that if you love yourself, it somehow makes you a little bit arrogant. But what we just want to quickly do now is to help you open your mind and expand that definition a little bit. Because for us, self-love just means respecting yourself enough so that you have boundaries. It means being kind to yourself, forgiving yourself when you make a mistake or when you hurt someone you care about. You know, maybe it means looking after your body and exercising and eating the right things. Maybe it means just taking yourself lightly.
You know, this whole term self-love has gotten such a bad rap. If we accuse somebody of loving themselves, we're not complimenting them. We're accusing them of being big-headed, being a snob, being arrogant, being conceited. It's almost like we're shaming somebody, oh, she loves herself. We're trying to make them wrong. But from my experience, loving myself is what Lucy just said, setting healthy boundaries, knowing how to respect myself. I was once at a dinner party with some friends, all really casual, and I just dropped into the conversation that I loved myself. And oh my gosh, the whole table just turns, so much shock, they can't believe what I just said. I said that I loved myself. And they all start attacking me. You don't understand what you're saying, you're making a fool of yourself, you don't mean that, oh my gosh, stop talking. And you know, I knew what I was talking about. I said, no, I meant to say that I love myself. And for me that means that I accept myself. I don't give myself a hard time for 5 days over something I did last week. If I make a mistake, I let it go there and then because I love myself that much. And they said, well, yeah, we understand that, but you said loving yourself, and that's not what it means. Now, I think anybody here understands that loving yourself is a good thing to do. And we've done ourselves a huge disservice by being so scared to love ourselves. You know how they've got Alcoholics Anonymous meetings? If there was I love myself meetings like, hi, I'm Sean and I love myself, it would sell out this little place every single week. Hi, I'm Sean and I make sure I live a great life. I keep company that I enjoy, I do work that I enjoy, I make enough money so I'm happy, I see my family, I've got a great relationship. My name's Sean, I'm doing so good. We don't have them meetings. I think we should start one. Yeah. So yeah, we need to get over this barrier that we cannot love ourselves. We are doing ourselves a disservice by believing that.
And what we're really trying to show you here is that loving yourself is not egotistical and it's not shameful. It's what you need to do and we need to do as humans to feel happy enough to be who we want to be and do what we want to do in the world. And as we're nearing the end of our workshop, what we wanted to give you was some easy and daily tools that you can implement. Because we said this morning, what is the one thing that prevents you from feeling as beautiful as you can? And we hope that we have demonstrated that that one thing is your negative thoughts. It's not the way you look. And whether you choose to believe those negative thoughts is up to you. And whether you choose to focus your thoughts on what you're grateful for, again, is up to you. So this first activity that we want to invite you to take away with you and use in your daily life is something that you can do of a morning. And when you're in the mirror and you're doing your makeup or you're doing your hair or you're choosing your outfit, Notice the automatic negative thoughts that you have. And you will notice them because you'll feel bad when you're thinking them. And that emotion is your indication that you're thinking something that's just not true for you. You know, it could be, like we said before, I should have better hair, I should have better skin, I should be thinner, whatever it is. And stop yourself and actually change those thoughts. Change them to something that's self-affirming, you know, something that you appreciate about yourself. This can be known as an affirmation, you know, and actually start to say that to yourself throughout the day. I appreciate myself, I like this about myself. Be willing to give it a go. And if you're sort of listening to me thinking, well, I could never think that, and I could never believe that, so I'm just not going to give it a go, well, find something that works for you. Find a thought that felt better than the one that you were previously thinking.
Because, you know, so many of us who have dived into the spiritual self-help world before would have heard this term affirmations. And something really interesting happens when we start to use affirmations. So, for some people, they work great. You install the thought, I'm happy and beautiful, and it sticks, and you can start to download that into your being. But some of your minds are going to go, you liar, no you're not. So you're going to go, I'm happy and beautiful. The other man goes, no you're not. No, I'm happy and beautiful. No you're not. And this tennis match starts to happen. But you don't believe this new thought you're really going to download into your being. So this is what I do. They don't work for me either. This is what I do. I call them release the need affirmations. So instead of, I feel happy and beautiful, I release the need to be happy and beautiful today. Who am I trying to impress? I release the need for you or for you or for you or for you to find me attractive. I release that need. And do you want to know what? An unattached person like that is such a beautiful person. In saying, I release the need to be happy and beautiful, what you're saying is, I am perfect as I am right now. I'm enough right here, right now. I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need anything else. I'm enough right here, right now. And when you get into that space, you're such an attractive person. Okay.
So this second exercise, this is something that you can do of an evening. And what we'd invite you to do is to buy a journal or a diary or something that you're going to actually enjoy writing in. And of an evening, play back through your mind everything that you've done that day and write down all the things that you did well. Write down all the things that you appreciate about yourself. And if this becomes a consecutive habit, something that you do every day, then the lens through which you see the world and yourself will begin to change. And you can call this a self-appreciation journal if you want to.
But we like to call it the I Rock journal. So we sit at night and go, I rock because, today I rocked because, and it could be, hey, today I rocked because I held the door open for that person, check me out. It could be, today I rocked because I didn't get angry at that person who was really trying to piss me off. I rock because of that today. Mm-hmm. So there's gratitude journals, fantastic, love them, got one. But what we're talking about is a self-appreciation journal. What makes you so special today? Okay, the I Rock journal, try it, it's awesome. Yeah. Okay, we're about to finish off then, but before we do, we want to really download all of this information we've given you from here in your head. We want to plant it right here in your heart, okay? So, we're not going to be able to do this with all the pens and paper and stuff on our bags. We put everything on the floor, and we're going to take you on a bit of a 4 or 5 minute journey. Holly, my love, can we have the music on? Yeah, put it on now. Okay, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. If you'd rather keep your eyes open, then just find somewhere in the room you're not going to be distracted, and we'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. Okay? First thing I want you to do, just allow yourself to feel the breath that's coming in and out of your body. It's not on your to-do list, it does it anyway. Something must think enough of you to give you this breath every day. You don't have to ask for it, you don't have to earn it, it's just there. Okay, now call to mind that moment where you felt absolutely beautiful. That day where you had it all going on. Remember how it felt, remember the stride in your step. Remember the smells, remember the feelings, remember everything. That day where you were just so on fire. Okay, now bring to mind a moment you're really grateful for, like you are just so happy this happened. You just know this was a moment in your life that was made for you. Okay, now think about a time in your life where you couldn't stop laughing. Probably over something so stupid and silly, but you just got the giggles. You laughed so hard your stomach started to hurt. Okay, now bring to mind a sexy and romantic moment from your life. A time when someone made you feel that you were worth so much. And now a time, a very private moment where you just had some inner peace and you knew, hey, I'm worth something. This moment, this time of your life, you knew that you were fine. You were happy, you were at peace. And let's just quickly think back on all the moments. We've got the beautiful moment, the grateful moment, the giddy moment, we couldn't stop laughing moment, the sexy and romantic moment, and the moment of complete self-appreciation and peace. And just allow your mind to say, you don't have to say it out loud, just say thank you. Thank you to whatever it was that made that happen. Thankful that it happened at all. And whenever you feel like you've said thank you, you can open your eyes. Okay, that is the best makeup you could ever buy. And it's free. You can flood yourself with their memories sat at your desk at work, on the tube, driving in your car, and it's free. You know, that's the inner glow we're talking about. Look at someone's eyes now, people can be glowing. That's what you're looking for. You know, you walk into a room sometimes and everyone just looks at someone, they take notice. Not because of what that person's wearing, because there's something about them. You all just did it.
Okay, so it's the end of our workshop and we wanted to bring you back to the question, what is true beauty and where does it come from? And for us, the prettiest girls or the most handsome men are the happiest, you know, are the people that actually give love and love themselves and are doing good in the world, the people that are lit from within. And we wanted to finish with a quote from Audrey Hepburn actually, who left a legacy, but not only because of the way that she looked on the big screen, but because of who she was as a person. You know, and she said, for beautiful lips, yeah, okay, you can wear lip gloss, but, you know, speak words of kindness. And for beautiful eyes, yeah, wear makeup, of course, but look for the good in people and look for the good in yourself. And for a slim figure, share your food. And, you know, for gorgeous hair, maybe just give it a break from the extensions every once in a while and, you know, let someone you care about run their fingers through it. And it's been an honour today to be able to speak about this subject with you. And we just wanted to say thank you for listening. And if anything that myself or Sean has said has resonated with you in any way, then you can follow us both on Facebook and on Twitter. And I actually have a workshop next month, April the 13th and 14th. And if you want any of those details, just go to my website, which is freespiritcoaching.co.uk, or alternatively, just come and speak to me at the end when we're finished.
You can find me on Facebook at That Guy Who Loves the Universe, That Guy Who Loves the Universe. If you've liked what I've said today, log onto my website, which is thatguywholovestheuniverse.com, and I've got an ebook coming out called Turn Your Spiritual Swag On. So anyone interested in doing that, make sure you sign up, and we'll keep in touch over there, okay? Awesome. Enjoy the Vitality Show.